Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day. 932 day 2, Thursday. So today is the last day before the quiz. So hopefully, as you are getting ready for the quiz, you guys have been thinking a little better about listening, paying attention a little more to the videos, and taking some notes down. I think the quiz kind of surprised some of you, so I'm hoping tomorrow it doesn't. So please make sure you prepare for that. I'll post a quiz tomorrow. I'm also going to post a video on how you are going to take the quiz, because it's going to be a little different, and so I wanted to make sure everyone understands that. Miss Smith is the one that made the video, and so I'll be sharing that with you tomorrow. Make sure that you check on today's homework tomorrow, the homework that you have today. Check that tomorrow, the worksheet, before you take the quiz, just as a little more practice before you take the quiz. Cool? All right. Today's lesson is just going to be some practice of 3 different problems. Now, again, I do need some graph paper. If you have a calculator, that'd be good. It might be helpful. So hopefully you have a calculator available to you. If not, go grab one right now. Pause the video, go grab one, come back, use your calculator, or use your calculator on the Chromebook. I don't care, but it'll come in helpful. Okay, so we are going to graph 3 different situations. That's the majority of it. Okay, let's begin. Now, one of the things we talked about is everything we've done so far until now has been linear. What if it's no longer linear? What if we change it to something different? And that's what I want to focus on today. So as you notice this right here, we have a quadratic equation here. Now, use graphing shortcuts to graph the following inequality on graph paper. Use an XY coordinate grid. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to think about this. Don't just jump into the process. Start looking at it. Look at the equation and try to figure out just quickly, what do you know? What can you already figure out? And then thinking of what we can do to graph it. Do some work and graph this. And then when you're done, unpause it and we'll check it. If you are confused, if you're not sure how to do it, I'll walk you through the process right now as well. So you can just listen instead of pausing it. But if you want to try it, again, ideally preparing for the quiz, try it on your own. And then if you get it wrong, that's fine. When we do it, it'll make more sense. Cool? All right, so here we go. I'm going to go over it. So last chance to pause and try it on your own. Okay, let's begin. The very first thing is already by looking at that, it's in standard form. So by knowing its standard form, I already know one thing, which is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 3, so my y-intercept is going to be there. Cool. Next, looking at that equation, what way do you think I'm going to solve it? Completing the square, quadratic equation, or just factoring, zero product property? Probably the best would be zero product property. And for the sake of time and space, I am going to just go ahead and give you the results. We had x minus 3 times x minus 1 when I factor that out, which then I put them equal to 0, and then I get x equals 3 and x equals 1. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, we got some bigger problems. So hopefully you guys feel comfortable doing that and you got your information. So that means my 2 roots are at 3 and at 1. Now, I need my vertex. Now, I don't really need my vertex. I could go ahead and graph it from what I see there, because I can kind of make out the curve of it. However, it would be good to go ahead and get the vertex. Now I know my y-intercept, or my vertex, is going to be at 2 because it's halfway between 1 and 3. So I go ahead and go to my equation here, and to figure it out, I have, and I know I put greater than or equal to, but I can go ahead and put equal to, if I wanted to, 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. So y is greater than or equal to 4 minus 8 plus 3. 4 minus 8 is negative 4, plus 3 is negative 1. So the vertex in this situation is negative 1, which makes sense. So there we go. I can now graph my parabola. Now, before I graph it, I do need to check, and Izzy caught me yesterday, I got to check this right here. Always have to check. Should it be dashed or should it be a solid line? It should be solid because it includes an equal sign. So we're going to do a solid line here, connecting those points, hopefully connecting them. I missed that point right there. There we go. Okay. Now, I do need to figure out what side to shade in. So I do the exact same thing before. I pick a point 0, 0. Now, again, the beautiful thing about, look at this. 0 squared, 0. 4 times 0, 0. So all those cancel out. All I'm left with is 0 is greater than or equal to 3. Is it? It is not. So since it is not, everything inside this should be shaded. And that is what your graph should look like. Is it? If it is, good job. If it isn't, hopefully you figured out what you did wrong. Okay. Next problem. Let's try it again. This one gets a little bit more challenging. How about this problem? So again, do the exact same thing. Now, as you notice, it's, well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So if you think you can tackle it, tackle it. If not, follow along. Okay? Let me pause it, or you pause it, and then restart it when you're ready to tackle it. Okay, now the first thing I need to focus on is the fact that this is already in graphing form. And graphing form tells me that this value right here, it should be x minus h. It's already minus, so that's great. It's just going to be 1. And then plus k. So it has to be the opposite of this value over here. So my vertex is already at 1, negative 3. 1, negative 3. Okay, so there's my vertex. Great. Now I need to find, well, what else? What other information can we get? Well, let's go ahead and try to change it. And now I made up this problem, and I'll be honest with you, it's a little ugly, but let's go ahead and do that. And if I factored x minus 1 squared, and again, for the sake of space and time for the video, I'm going to just shorten that. You should know how to square that, but you should get x squared minus 2x plus 1, and then minus 3. Now, at this point, then I distribute it out now, so y is less than 2x squared minus 4x, and then plus 2, but then I have that minus 3, so y is less than 2x squared minus 4x minus 1. That tells me my y-intercept. My y-intercept is 1. Okay, so if my y-intercept is 1, I can already have some good information here. With the y-intercept being 1 there, that tells me my other, since it's symmetrical, if that's my vertex, my other point is there. And actually, that is really all I need. I can go ahead and graph my parabola. And if you actually tried factoring this out, you would notice that it is not factorable. You'd have to use a quadratic equation. And the coordinate points for that actually end up going to where, well, it ain't pretty. It looked like this. So you notice that the roots are going to be decimals, okay? But you can get the point right there. That's what the graph should look like. Now, did you catch me? Because I made a mistake. Did you see it? Right? I went ahead and was like, all right, I'm just going to graph it. Yeah, no, I shouldn't, right? Because if I look at my equation here, I notice that my vertex, and of course I left it as my eraser. So let's go back here, red pen. Okay, my vertex is 1, negative 3. My y-intercept was at negative 1, which this means this point here was positive 1. But it is less than, therefore it should be a dashed line. So I'm going to put a dashed line all the way here and all the way up there. Arrows at the end. Whew, that's beautiful arrows. And again, we pick point 0, 0. Now, if you notice, point 0, 0 is inside here. So if it doesn't work, then we're good to go. If it does, fine. 0 is less than 2 times 0 minus 1. Now, you do have to actually do that. 2 times 0 minus 1 would be negative 1 minus 3. Okay, so 0 is less than 2 times negative 1 would be negative 2 minus 3, which becomes plus negative 3. 0 is less than negative 5. Is that true? It is not. Therefore, everything outside the parabola should be shaded in. Cool. Did you get it right? Hopefully. Okay, and again, my hope is that if you got it wrong, you were able to figure out what you did wrong. Last one more, okay? And this one, oh yeah, let's throw it at you. What is that graph? That graph is exponential. Okay, so if it's an exponential function, that means you know it's going to be a curve kind of going from one side, okay? What do I know already? I do know my starting value. My starting value is 3. Now, guys, if you remember, there isn't really a great shortcut here. So you do actually have to make a table. Now, since I do know it's going to flatten out here on the left-hand side, I'm just going to go 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0 I know is 3. If x is 1, I do 1.5 times to the first power, which is 1.5 times 3, which would be 4 5/10. Okay, and then if I kept going there, which hopefully you did, and you did 1.5 squared, then times 3. When you do that, you get, sorry, I got to make sure I get my notes here. Okay. Sorry. Just looking at these points here. Okay, when you do that, you get that 2 is 6 and 75 hundredths, and 3 is 10 and 125 thousandths. So I know that point then. Point 1 is 4.5. Point 2 is 6 and 75 hundredths. 5, 6, 75 hundredths. Point 10, or point 3 would be 10. So I can therefore, let's look over here. Solid line or dashed. It should be a solid line. So it's going to be a curve like this. All right. And then, as always, I plug in 0.00 into my equation and see if it works. 0 is less than or equal to 3 times 1 5/10 to the power of 0. What's 1 5/10 to the power of 0? That's 1. So 0 is less than or equal to 3. Is that true? That is true. It is. So therefore, everything below should get shaded in. Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you feel pretty comfortable with that. It's just thinking about what we've done, and then it's graphing just like we did before. All you have to focus on that's different is the inequality. So greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and know the difference, and then use 0.00 to check it out if it works. Okay. Your homework is a worksheet, so I'll have the worksheet included here. You can print it out, or if you don't have access to a printer, you can just bring it up on the screen and copy from there. Okay. Today at 3 o'clock, no, 1 o'clock, I think, for you guys. At 1 o'clock, we are going to have a Google Meet. You are welcome to join. What did I say? I think it was 2 o'clock. I'm sorry. Check. I don't have it on me right here. But today there is a Google Meet. So please check. Feel free to get on. We're going to just catch up a little bit, see how everyone's doing. We're going to talk about questions about the last quiz. If you had any questions about the quiz for tomorrow, no, I'm not telling you what's coming on it, but you can get a pretty good clue. It's about this week. So think about what we've done this week and prepare for that. I'd love to have you join us. If you can, that'd be great. If you can't, I understand. We're just going to hang out, nothing fancy, nothing formal, just talk, just catch up, and see how everything is. Okay, so hopefully you can make it. Please make sure you also check your homework. Some of you are falling behind on homework, and I've got to send some fun emails home today to make sure I get that taken care of. So please make sure you get caught up in your homework. Okay, guys? All right, I will talk to you. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Hold on. Before I go, I do need to say, Mortada, happy birthday, bud. I hope you have a wonderful birthday today, and I hope you stay out of trouble and enjoy. And by the way, also, I do feel really, really bad. I'm sorry, Colin. Colin was his birthday was his birthday last Friday. So if you are able to get a hold of Colin, wish him a happy birthday. Colin, happy birthday. Sorry I'm late with it. I feel really bad, but just picture I'm giving you an Oreo. Okay, cool. All right. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.